gosh, I felt so important. I felt loved. I felt cared for. And that connection matters. And I would tell as an educator, before people learn from you, they got to know you care.
Thank y'all for joining the Twincast. It's the podcast where business and faith are our foundation and a good laugh is always on the house. We're identical twin sisters navigating the real estate world one deal at a time. The Twincast starts now. Welcome back to the Twincast. We're Nicole and Shuri, identical twin sisters, and your host of the Twincast.
And on this podcast, we talk about faith, real estate, and leveling up. Nicole, let's go.
Well, let's get into it. So today is the first day of school for Belton ISD, and definitely the first day of school for my sweet angels, Ava Grace and Abby. They started school today, but today we really wanted to deep dive into a topic that's important to us right now, is education and our leaders, our people that are pouring into our children, and starting the school year off great. And that's what we wanted to talk about today.
So we're going to say decide before the bell. There's a lot of decisions that need to be made before that bell rings, before you send your kids off to school, before you start teaching, before you show up as faculty on the campus. So we want to talk to y'all about that. Like Nicole said, because we are, we are parents, one, but we're in the education business apparently now. So we're going to see a little bit different aspect from that going forward, I think. So first day of school for year 2. So tell me a little bit about what was going on this morning.
Okay, well, this is near and dear because I am a mom first, and Ava is starting 2nd grade and Abby in 8th grade, both, lots of emotions this morning. And Abby was concerned about the schoolwork that's going to be ahead of her, and lots to do, but she's excited about volleyball. So that's pushing her along, and she'll get through the year knowing that she'll be able to play volleyball. So she'll be fine there. Now, my Ava Grace, she is having a difficult time. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about bullying, and
my baby.
She was concerned about this year and being bullied, and it hurts my mom heart to see and hear this because she really didn't want to go to school. And so last night we had a conversation on our way to church, and we talked a little bit about what she likes in other people, and for her to be that person, find things, whether it's fun or sweet, kind, find some things that you like about other people, and you be that person. And that we have to make a choice. We can't choose just because we don't like something or someone. We can't give up school. We still have to go places, and there will be things that we don't like, but we still have to do. And so what I can appreciate is that her 1st grade teacher, she loved him to death, Mr. Condi.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Condi. Yes. Go, Mr. Condi. He's still making a difference now, huh? I mean, even to her right now.
And even to her older sister, Abby even says Mr. Condi, and she I don't even know that she's even met Mr. Condi, but wow. Ava has talked him up so much that Abby loves him too.
Okay.
So what I think is that what we have to do as parents is that we have to encourage our kids, that and let them know the reality of it is that we're not going to like everything, but some things are necessary. And we have to go ahead and complete the task at hand, and make a choice to be happy and find the good in the situation. The good was last year, Mr. Condi came through and she loved him to death. And even though she had some instances last year that she didn't like, she was still able to get through the year with a smile on her face because she knew that she was walking into a classroom to a teacher that loved and would treat her right. So that made the year great for her.
So we got to tell the student that is because sadly, Ava's not the only one that's going to school feeling, concern, fear about being bullied. So if you're a student being bullied, I have to say, one, stand up for yourself and tell somebody, tell a teacher, and let them know, hey, I'm being mistreated. I would say that's very important to be able to do that. But also, like you said, to try to circumvent that person and avoid them. But another perspective I want you to maybe talk to Ava about, or I'll have the opportunity, is maybe helping her understand that person that's being bullied, or excuse me, the person that is bullying her is probably hurting, and there's a reason when they hurt people, they're hurt people, and something about them is not in alignment. Something's wrong. And so they're feeling sad and they're taking it out on somebody else. They're mad and they're taking it out on somebody else. They're picking on somebody for some other reason, but it's a them problem. It's not an Ava problem. And perhaps, for her to have a little compassion towards that person, not saying that she should endure being bullied. I'm just saying that to understand from that perspective, they're hurt, and that's why they're taking it out, and that's not okay. But one perspective or an additional perspective to look at it that way as well. Okay, we're just going to continue to work with Ava and know that she's going to be okay because God's got her.
Yes, so we prayed about it.
Amen.
And we woke up this morning in a good mood.
Okay.
And she was happy. She has a new teacher this year, Mr. Kidd. And I spoke with him last night before class started today. So
Okay.
what I can appreciate is that he's already making outbound phone calls to parents and introducing himself. And I love that. So I got to chat with him a little bit about Ava, and he was excited to have her in his class this year. So Ava went in, and I actually mentioned, Ava, you're going to meet Mr. Kidd today. And before we walked into his class, she was already excited and a smile on her face. So that made me feel good knowing that she was already smiling and sent her off in a good mood. So I'm excited about the year and know that we're going to have some challenges as we, that's just life and school, right?
Right.
But we'll navigate through them.
So we have Ava's situation, and we have Abby over here. And again, like other, students out there, she's excited about it, and I'm excited for her. Like you said, she's starting volleyball again now she's on the A team. So we done moved up. But I bring this up because Abby is a student that she's going to be able, I'm hoping, to provide some light and love to other people out there. So if you have students that are excited, tell them to help other people be excited, to go into the campus, into school, feeling excited, showing love towards people, because you never know, like, who is being bullied, like Ava, who's having, a problem at home, you never know what people are dealing with. So Abby is given the opportunity to help somebody else. And I'm happy about that.
Yes, Abby is just a little social butterfly. And that can get her in trouble at times. But she has a good time chatting and being friends with people. So she has lots of friends, and she likes interacting with people. So I can depend on Abby for that. And she, academically wise, she's very smart there too. So we're going to keep pushing her.
Right.
And we have other friends. Math is an area that we all, could use a little push and help in. And so she has friends, and that's what I love, that we are able to depend on some of those families there to encourage Abby and to push her to try a little bit harder, because it does get easy to kind of just throw in the towel. Sometimes it gets easy.
Oh my goodness.
Especially when you're not good at something.
Oh, yeah.
When you're not good at something, it's hard to see the light. But when you surround yourself with other people that are better than you, then it pushes you to try a little bit harder.
Yes.
And then you have the friends that say, hey, this is how I do it. This is how you can do it.
Right.
And they give you some tips and tricks. And that's what Abby has found, that she surrounded herself with people that are a little bit better in areas that she's not. And that pushes her. And she's good in some areas that her friends are. And they push her, and she pushes them. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Keep her involved and keep her spreading the good news to people, and putting the right people in the right place there around her.
And as parents, I encourage that.
You deciding before the bell to talk to your kids about that. That's important. As parents, we can talk to our students before we send them out into the school, that we can tell them, hey, be an advocate. Do the right thing. If it's hard, still do the right thing. Take care of people. Stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for people that can't stand up for themselves.
You got to coach them up.
Yeah, you got to do those things.
We have to, and sometimes parents, let's be honest, we have to coach ourselves up.
Absolutely.
I will say, I think time is an issue for me.
Not time, Nicole.
Time.
Okay.
I don't have enough of it.
You know what? This is a step in the right direction. You said you don't you get the same amount of time everybody
No,
else
but
does. Okay.
I feel like I don't have enough
Yeah.
time. But
Okay.
the fact is, I do have as much time as everybody else. I
Right.
just have to manage it better. So,
Right.
for myself, small steps.
Hmm.
So instead of getting to school 30 minutes early, let's try 5.
5 minutes, I'll take it. But that 5 minutes, I want to seriously, for the parents that are sending your kids out to school, understand if you're rushing them, if you're yelling at them, you know what? That's a problem because it doesn't matter that, honestly, it doesn't matter that the room is not clean at this moment. It doesn't matter, they got 2 different socks on. I mean, that doesn't matter because you're setting the precedence for what that student will have, their attitude for the beginning of the day. So,
Very beginning of the day. Yeah,
yeah.
that is true. And that I've kind of started that at the end of the school year last year.
Okay.
And remembered it this morning that my goal is to not get them just on time, but get them a few minutes early to school. And
Okay.
yes, we need to go ahead and maybe make 15, 20 minutes early, but for myself to get ready before them. And that way I can have a good attitude
Okay.
when they're waking up, have a good attitude as I'm sending them off,
Okay.
so they can start a morning of success.
Yeah.
Set them up for success. I want them to be happy, know that I love them, know that they're great, and everything good can happen in that day. And I want to
Right.
be able to do that. And if it's just me getting up a little bit earlier, well, you got to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it. And I think that may take some of the pressure. I know as parents, we have so much pressure about having, our kids look a certain way, our house looking a certain way, there's so much pressure, making sure the lunch is packed and making sure all this is done, perfectly. But take the pressure off. We're not perfect people. We never will be. But you know what will matter? Because the kid may not care about the lunch, but I will tell you they will care about how they got yelled at in the car on the way to school and how they got told they were, stupid and all the different things. Yeah.
My parents are saying that.
I'm telling you, you can lose it. These kids will drive you nuts. So I want to take the pressure off. Now, have I done it? I'm not saying anything. I'm just trying to tell you, I don't want y'all to feel that pressure. I want you to take some pressure off. And what would matter most is that you send them off with, I love you. You got this. You can do it. And you not only help them, but I promise you, the teachers will care more about that than they will care about their lunch or care about that they have 2 different socks on. Ain't nobody care about that.
That's the
Okay.
style anyways. 2 different socks.
Okay, well, look at God showing up for us. He's like, I'll make this a trend.
Okay.
I love it. Thank you, God.
So this morning, started off this morning. I woke up, got up a little bit earlier,
Okay.
and I started playing Forrest Frank.
Okay.
Good day.
It's
So
a good
we're
day,
gonna have a
man.
good day,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how I started off the morning in my room and in their room. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
and so I was excited about that. Either way, that's what we wanted to talk about as far as the kids decide before the bell. As parents, we're setting up the day for them.
Right.
So let's set up them for success.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get moving in the right direction. Let's wake up a little bit earlier. Let's drive a little slower to school. Maybe send them off with a prayer before they leave.
Amen.
Pray for not just them,
Mm-hmm.
but pray for the people around them.
Amen.
Pray for the
Faculty. Mm-hmm.
Gosh, me and Cherie, now that we are doing a little bit more, we get to see. Yesterday, we spoke to some teachers. I don't know how many. It was a good amount, maybe 30 or 40
Mm-hmm.
students. I'm sorry, teachers.
Yeah.
And goodness, a great crowd.
Yes.
And we could see. I mean, we know that they love the students that are coming in, but we also know that they have a job at hand. They have
a
a task
huge
before that
responsibility. Mm-hmm.
It starts before the bell,
Right.
and when that bell rings,
it's go time.
They don't
Yeah.
have script.
Yeah.
What's going to happen every day as each student comes in, because every day a student comes in, and the first day they walk in and they don't know what they're going to
Right.
get, because
Right.
some students didn't go to meet the teacher.
Right. They
That's
did.
us.
Yeah.
We didn't go to meet the teacher.
Okay. Okay.
So there's some people
Mhm.
that unfamiliar faces, but as a teacher, I'm sure that they are able to see the excitement in some of them, the fear in others, the ones that they just don't know, the students that are coming in that just don't know what to do and how to make it happen, and
Right.
they got the weight of the world on their shoulders. So as educators, as leaders, we have a huge role in changing that for them. And those ones that are sad and don't have a friend or need a little bit of encouragement or a push, we have the ability. Well, it's not something we have to do. We get to do that.
Yeah.
We get to give them a voice. We get to give to put hope in them. We get to
Yeah.
say, "Hey, you can do it. I got you. You get the opportunity." So it's not something that we should take lightly. We get the
No.
opportunity to love them where they may not get it.
Yeah, I mean, in all actuality, they're spending, 8 hours plus with our kids, and so they have a significant impact on the way these students will now see education, well, how they see leadership, how they see these things in life. They're molding them, honestly, and so what a huge responsibility to know that the next generation is really, it's on them. And so I would say, again, decide before the bell that one decision, one student, one person at a time, make the decision that I'm going to be different for that person. I'm going to be different for this student. I'm going to be different every day is going to be, like you said, it's going to be different. You never know what's going to happen, but if you know that in advance, it may help with just a little bit knowing that I'm going to take it one day at a time. I'm going to do good one student at a time. I'm going to do it and just consistently try to do that every day. That's all we can ask.
Yeah, I mean, not asking for a perfect school year.
No, we can't.
Because you just can't. You can't
No.
give a perfect school year, but you can build a relationship with the
Mhm.
students and the people that you're working with and you get to see every day. And I
Yeah.
will say, I mean, the relationship matters. I can remember going to school and going back. Gosh, I can to this day I can tell you
Mm.
I never want to go back. I would never want to go back to school. I would never want to go back to high school. I would never want to go back to junior high. I would never want to do that. And that had to do with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I was bullied. We were
Mm-hmm.
bullied. I didn't
Yeah.
like it. I did not like it. But what I can tell you is I remember the teachers that made a difference.
Yeah.
I remember the teachers that smiled, that said, they didn't care if we looked different. They didn't care about that,
Right.
but they cared about how we felt. And
Mm-hmm.
so I can remember two or three teachers that made a difference in my life that I can now say, hey, I hope one day my kids get to experience that.
Yeah.
They get to run into a teacher that made a difference, that impacted their life so
Mm-hmm.
much so that they're able to do things that they didn't think that they could accomplish.
Oh my gosh, yes. I can remember the same thing. I can remember and name the teachers, by name and say, I remember when you stood up for me when I was being bullied. I remember when you taught me and when I thought like, gosh, I'm so dumb. I can't figure this out. Why can't I figure it out? And, they took time to sit beside me and say, hey, Sheree, let's do it this way. Think about it this way. And, I got it. The light bulb went off and, it was so, gosh, I felt so important. I felt loved. I felt cared for. And that connection matters. And I would tell as an educator, before people learn from you, they got to know you care. And if you can care for them, and like you said, we're, kind of navigating a new field here, but that's one thing that I get. I understand it. We do Sunday school, we do nursery, we do all those things, but the most impactful part of our time with these kids is knowing that they care, and they can see and feel that we care about them. And when they do that, they intently listen. What do they have to say? What are they going to teach me today? And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool for them to come into our classroom and high five us and want to listen to us. And I love that. And it means so much to me when I, see a student that does that to, in the classroom now. And so I just, hats off to the teachers that are going back and sign up for this to, 350 days a year or whatever, how, yeah, hats off to you guys. You guys are the real MVP.
Yeah, we actually had some numbers to support the relationship part of it
Oh, yes,
because I
ma'am.
mean, I believe it's not just when I say belief, it's not just a belief system,
Mhm.
the numbers support it, right?
Yeah, the national CDC says 6 out of every 10 students are missing a connection. So that means in school there's a gap. There's a gap between a kid saying, I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. I don't know why. I'm not. There's something wrong, and so that means we need more connections. We need people to sit down. We need our students to sit down with these students and say, hey, I care about you. I know I got to educate a lesson plan. I know that I have numbers that I have to get, and I know these things are important, but most importantly, I care about you.
But what that means is that if you build that relationship, they're gonna come to class. They're not just gonna show up, but they're gonna come to class
Ready to learn?
ready to learn. Their academics are going to improve as well. So if you build that relationship, you start with a relationship first. Teaching becomes easier
It
because
certainly
you've built
does.
that relationship. So the CDC says that the attendance will improve and also that their academics will improve if you build
Yeah.
that relationship. So
Yeah.
if you create the environment, if you're that person, of course, you can't be all the things, but we can strive for it.
Yep.
Because why not?
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was 8th grade. It was 8th grade, and I had a teacher that I just, it was just so hard, and I don't understand. I was doing reading, and I was just thinking, like, man, I'm not getting it. I was reading out loud, and he told me, he's like, Cherie, don't. It doesn't matter if you can read well out loud. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you're not comprehending what you're reading. And I thought, yeah, it does. It matters. But he sat down, he talked to me about it, and it was so crazy because I got A's ever since after him all through high school, college. That's been the best part of my grades. But it was just because somebody told me, they believed in me, they said I could do it. He took time and he built the relationship, the trust, the care. I saw it in him. It wasn't one time, but time after time again he showed up, and the consistency matters. So show up for those kids, show up for them like your life depends on it. Their life does.
100% does. They need you, maybe more than they even realize.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we wanted to chat with y'all about, how important it is to decide before the bell, who you'll be, encouraging, inspiring, giving the children the hope that they need, even when they don't know that they need it. So we don't take it lightly. We know y'all have a huge job. As parents, we have a big job too, because we're pushing them off to be in this facility for hours on end. And so we want to, as parents, I'm going to do my best to do
Thank you,
better
Nicole.
and to help them, help my kids be good students. And so I'll do my part, and we hope that we encourage y'all to do the same.
If you like today's episode, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, keep dreaming big, planning smart, and remember, with the right team, you hold the keys.